Welcome, illustrious guardians of the scales of justice, to this modest reflection on time. A time that, in our system, seems to have its own peculiar elasticity. Not that of quantum physics, but rather that of a used stick of chewing gum. Today we're talking about a well-known phenomenon, almost an unwritten institution, turtle justice. A term that immediately evokes a vivid poetic image of slowness. Not a meditative slowness, but one that borders on immobility. Imagine a turtle, yes, but one that has just had a hearty lunch and is pondering the meaning of existence. Its movement is so deliberate it almost seems like a still image. This is our justice. The heart of the problem, as you well know, lies in the length of time. A length not measured in months or years, but often in decades, a prolongation that turns a trial into an epic saga, worthy of a Russian novel. Citizens thus find themselves in limbo, a bureaucratic purgatory. A consuming uncertainty, a frustration that accumulates, layer upon layer, like age-old sediment. The main feature of this problem is, without a doubt, the wait. Decades of waiting for a sentence, a verdict, a final word. Some trials are so long they almost require a birth certificate. The impact on people's lives is deep, almost existential. Years are frozen in time, waiting for a kickoff that never comes, like living in an endless trailer for a movie that will never be released. This state of anguish becomes a faithful companion, a constant shadow. The feeling of frustration, then, is a national sentiment, almost a distinctive trait of our character. It's not just an inconvenience, it's a true existential condition. A wait that's not only unnerving, but redefines the very concept of patience. The state of suspended time is unique to us. A nerve-wracking wait that transforms the individual into a modern-day Sisyphus, except that his rock is of file. The impact on your personal life is devastating. How can you plan for a future, for a family, for a home, when your whole existence depends on a constant postponement? It's like trying to build a sand castle while the ground keeps shaking beneath you. Even professional life is severely impacted. Missed opportunities, stalled careers, businesses fail. All waiting for a stamp, a signature, a hearing that always seems just around the corner, but never arrives. And family life? Children grow up, grandchildren are born, while the grandparents' case is still in the first instance. Generations follow, but the trial remains there, unchanging, a monument to slowness. The psychological pressure is immense, almost unbearable. The uncertainty of the future becomes a pall, a weight that crushes all hope. It's a slow but steady agony. The consequences are devastating, not only for the wallet, but for the soul. The uncertainty of the future isn't a detail, it's the very denial of the possibility of living life to the fullest. This damage isn't limited to individuals, unfortunately. The slowness of justice is a worm that eats away at something much larger. It threatens citizens' trust in institutions, brick by brick. When justice is slow, it isn't perceived as fair. It's a paradox, certainly, but a paradox deeply rooted in popular perception. Justice delayed is justice denied, as the old adage goes. The consequences for the perception of the state are serious. It generates a sense of mistrust, a profound disillusionment. The state, rather than being a guarantor, becomes an obstacle, a Kafkaesque labyrinth. Citizens feel abandoned, unheard, almost mocked. Slowness becomes synonymous with inefficiency, indifference, and a system that doesn't work. This erosion of trust is a danger to democracy itself. A people who don't believe in justice are a people who lose faith in the state. And without trust, every reform, every attempt at improvement, risks being wasted. Because trust is the glue of every civil society. Slowness isn't just a problem of perception, it's a problem of effectiveness. The lack of a timely response to crimes compromises the entire system. It's like a doctor arriving after the patient has already recovered, or worse, died. The effectiveness of punishment is dramatically affected. A punishment imposed years or decades later loses its deterrent and re-educational value. It becomes an abstract punishment, almost a distant echo of a forgotten event. And what about the possibility of rehabilitation for defendants? How can you rehabilitate someone who has spent years in legal limbo? Rehabilitation requires time, not endless waiting. Justice, to be effective, must be swift. Not hasty, but expeditious. It must provide answers within a reasonable time frame, not in geological epochs. Otherwise, the justice system becomes a jammed mechanism, a gear spinning idly. A huge cost to society, with minimal benefits. Compromising effectiveness is a luxury we can no longer afford. It's a burden that weighs on everyone, victims, defendants, and, ultimately, the entire community. But all is not lost, distinguished judges. There is a consolation, a hope, a glimmer of light in this bureaucratic tunnel. The need for change, for evolution, is now unavoidable. Improving the justice system isn't an option, it's an imperative. We can't continue to navigate these murky waters, hoping the current will carry us to shore. There are many paths to this evolution, and some are already before our eyes. The introduction of new technologies, for example, is not science fiction, but a reality. To speed up procedures, streamline bureaucracy, and make the process more transparent, technology can be a valuable ally, not an enemy. Simplifying the laws is another crucial point. A regulatory labyrinth helps no one except those who thrive on its complexity. Fewer quibbles, more clarity. And what about judicial staff training? More efficient magistrates, more efficient judicial staff. This isn't a criticism, but an investment. An investment in quality, competence, and speed. Finally, adopt measures to reduce the court's workload. Alternatives to ordinary justice, such as mediation and conciliation, should be considered. Every less caseload means a respite for the system. In conclusion, the slow pace of justice is a harsh but necessary wake-up call. It's not an attack, but a human cry we can no longer ignore. The urgency of addressing this problem is palpable. To guarantee citizens' rights, which are the foundation of any civil society. To preserve the credibility of the state, which is the foundation of our democracy. And to preserve trust in institutions, without which all efforts are in vain. Trust is a precious asset, difficult to build and easy to destroy. Evolution is the key, not a revolution. A process of continuous change, of continuous improvement. Not a point of arrival, but a journey. The objectives of this evolution are clear: to overcome the current, unsustainable situation. To build a more efficient justice system that responds in a reasonable time frame. Building a more equitable justice system where slowness is not a form of injustice. And, finally, building a more timely justice system that lives up to citizens' expectations. Time is a precious commodity for everyone. And justice, to be effective, must respect it.